Hello there. Welcome back to Jonesy Chats Wrestling and welcome to your Hell in a Cell 2021 review. This is with Jonesy and NXT Steve. Here we are. Looking forward to discussing the pay-per-view. It's always good to see you back here, Steve. How are you this morning? I know you watched it live.
Um, well, mate, I tell you what, I wish I hadn't.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it's good to be here. Obviously, we're going to cover the whole pay-per-view in some detail. Always good to hear your opinion. Obviously, a live perspective. I've watched it this morning. I got up at 5 a.m. and watched it. So, yeah, I feel your pain a little bit. Not as bad, but definitely. So let's kind of break this down then. So we'll start at the beginning. We had the kickoff show. The kickoff show was okay in parts, loads of packages and stuff like that. There was one match crucially that took place, and the match we got. For me, I was a bit disappointed. Really, I think this is a match really that we had that I was just expecting kind of to do a lot more with. I think you've got these tag team titles. Why are they not defending the tag team titles? But what did you make of this match we had in the kickoff show?
Of all the feuds that are going on, and you've gone and put Mandy Rose versus Natalia, it's not even like you said a tag team match for the titles, and then the result as well, Natty picking up the win with the sharpshooter. This made no sense for me booking wise. I'm like, why have you buried this? Why isn't Mandy winning this as a thing to go forward and have them challenge for the title? But it just really baffled me to say of all the feuds going on like across WWE Network and TV, like Raw, SmackDown, just why this one of all matches to be picked?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a bit baffling. I know that these guys, I believe, were number one contenders, but for me, I don't know why we haven't got the tag team issue. I think they're going to save the tag team match to Raw, but I'm with you. I think the Mandy Rose and Dana, or Mandy Rose should have got the win there, basically, I think, to build up the hype. But crucially, the women's tag team champions win. But for me, this was a kickoff match that I didn't need to see. I think I'd much rather have seen Humberto and Ricochet or something like that, really. I think that would have been far better. And did this get you hyped going into the pay-per-view?
Oh no, well, not at all, man. This was like I was just like, oh, it's a kickoff match. Do you know what I mean? I can just, it doesn't bother me. This is the reason why it's on free to air TV, and or do you know what I mean? I can see why they've done it, but yeah, this match just did not help the pay per view at all.
Definitely. Speaking about the pay per view, let's get into it then. So, this pay per view opens up a really, really cool feature. We've got a flashback to 1979 film, The Warriors. The woman's there on the microphone. I really kind of love that. You've seen The Warriors, isn't it? All time great film.
One of my all-time great films. Yeah, I love it. I think it's a cult classic.
In case anybody hasn't seen it, this clip right here will just show you the similar intro. You'll notice the comparison. Let us know what you think in the comments of what you think of the intro. We think it's really, really cool.
All right now, for all you boppers out there in the big city, all you street people with an ear for the action, I've been asked to relay a request from the Gramercy Riffs. It's a special for the Warriors. That's that real live bunch from Coney. And I do mean the Warriors. Here's a hit with them in mind.
That intro was so cool. Like, I like it. I don't really know what it's to do with kind of Warriors. I like it, the whole thing, but it made me feel a bit hyped for the pay per view. It was inventive. I think they're going back to these inventive intros now. They're going to be back in fans. Did you like the intro?
Yeah, I thought the intro was fantastic. I don't know what tied in with Hell in the Cell though, but I suppose maybe the chaos and everything that they go through in the film, that it kind of runs along the same line. But yeah, I thought it was really, really inventive for them. It makes a change for an intro of WWE. But I said they did that recently with Backlash when they had Batista do the intro with obviously to promo the film. But yeah, it was good.
Definitely going to go to the opening match. And so this is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Hell in a Cell. This has also been building for many kind of months. Bianca Belair, Bailey. For me, really, really good match. This was one of the best matches on the show. I really kind of enjoyed it. It was quite brutal. There was a lot of bumps. The ponytail was used quite a bit. Bianca and Bailey they traded blows. They literally just took lumps out of each other. I like the way that Bailey couldn't pick up the stairs, then Bianca picks up the stairs. I really kind of enjoyed it. I thought this was a really good match. Crucially, Bianca obviously wins. For me, I always thought that Bianca was going to kind of win here. I didn't see her not winning here. What did you think of the match, and did you enjoy it?
The match was all right. The problem I had was obviously I watched Hell in a Cell last year when you had Bailey versus Sasha, and it was, I think I was expecting too much, thinking they're going to live up to the hype of last year's match, because last year's was really good. But this match was equally just as good. Loads of creative spots that you had with, let's say, tying Bianca's head to a chair, tying it to the bottom rope were really good. Bailey bites her at one point, I thought was really good and really creative. The other one as well was the taped up kendo sticks, which was obviously something they tried to do in last year's match that Bailey come prepared for this year, and she actually pre-taped the kendo sticks because it didn't work last year. But then obviously, yeah, with Bianca spine busting her through them kendo sticks. And then the finish as well. The finish is fantastic. That KOD onto the ladder that's opened up as in its A-frame position, but laying on its side. What a wonderful way to finish a match.
That was an excellent finish. I got to admit, the finish was just so creative. And I think the fact that I wasn't that excited going into this match because I've seen it quite a few times, but really kind of enjoyed it. I think they've done a great job. Crucially, there is an after promo where Bianca says she won't forgive Bayley. I'm wondering if you're going to get this next month. I think for me, this is the feud's got to be over now. I know they want Sasha back and they wait for Sasha to come back, but for me, do you want to see this match again, or do you think it's done?
I wouldn't. I can see it again. It's not a problem to watch it again, but I just think that the fact that you've had Bianca defeat Bayley and Sasha Banks in her first sort of one in the title victory, one in a title defense. I mean, you're either going to have her against Bayley again or possibly Carmella, and then she's buried 3 of your top heels before losing the title. I just think you could have maybe done with swapping the belts over here, but I reckon, it will probably go to, as I say, it will either go to Bayley again or Carmella before Sasha Banks returns.
Definitely. I think this might have been the spot to have somebody sort of come out and challenge like Bianca. Like, there's nothing stopping Mia Yim coming on, still not on the main roster in terms of SmackDown. There's nothing stopping her. I think for me, they need something to hold on to Sasha comes back. It's clear that it's going to be Bianca and Sasha at SummerSlam. I think for me, I really enjoyed it. I think this is a great feud, but I think the Hell in a Cell is usually a feud ender. We don't need to see any more of this, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree with that. But this is what I was thinking when I was watching this show last night. Is this pay-per-view oversaturated now? Like, do you think that we get too many Hell in a Cell matches, and it should go back to be sort of more of a Bad Blood 97, where it's just a match part of a pay-per-view like an Armageddon or an In Your House Bad Blood? Because I just think it's oversaturated when you have sort of 2-3 matches on one pay-per-view card for it.
I agree. I think the problem with this pay-per-view, in all honesty, with the Hell in a Cell matches, none of the matches have had that personal hatred built up at all properly. So back in the old days, you look at Bad Blood 97, Shawn Michaels HBK versus Undertaker. There's that hatred there that's built up really well, and it's a really intense match, which you need. They have to have it in the Hell in a Cell. Whereas none of the matches really, like the Bianca Belair and Bayley match, was built up off the laughter. You know what I mean? It's built up over nothing. It's built up over stupidity to a certain point, which is why. But I agree, a single Hell in a Cell match would be better. And I think really the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view should. I think we don't need a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. I just think we need one Hell in a Cell, whether that be at WrestleMania or somewhere at that scale. Really, that I think would tell a story better.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing as well is I don't think they used the cell to its best of its abilities. Like, we didn't get anyone climb on top of it last night. No one went through one of the side rails. Do you know what I mean? It was all confined to inside the cell, which, I think you've lost sort of half the appeal of watching a Hell in a Cell match with that.
Definitely. I think also the lack of color as well. Like, I think the fact that you could see that the face was like one of them to the face against the Hell in a Cell, yet there's no blood. You know what I mean? That in the old days you would have seen a lot of color. For me as a fan, I love seeing color. I think it just tells such a big story. But it was a great match. I give them the credit. They did as best they can within the PG element. But let's kind of move forward then. So we obviously had this backstage promo. We've got Alexa Bliss there. She largely says that Shayna's basically naughty. Basically says that we're going to see who opens and knocks on the door. For me, I thought this was another needless kind of promo. I get that they're hyping up the match that's coming on. In terms of knock on the door, that just seemed like an Aleister Black line to me. I don't know why they've done that. Ultimately, in the pay-per-view later on, they didn't do anything that involved what she said. What did you make of this promo and a lack of follow-up?
To be fair, the feeling I got with the show, and a lot of it was this basically could have just been an episode of Raw. Some of the promos were very Raw-esque. Some of the matches were very Raw-esque. I just think it was needless, really. I don't think it was needed to be in there. I reckon you probably could have cut this out and given some more matches, some more minutes, to be fair, because I think some of them needed it.
Definitely. I think the thing with it is I just hate it when they do this whole thing of like dropping lines, like, let's see who knocks on the door. You're creating an intrigue to an angle, yet you don't do anything. It's like, what is the point of it? It's just ultimately stalling. But as I said, I get it's all crazy and stuff like that. In terms of Aleister Black, as we mentioned, apparently heard a rumor last week he has re-signed WWE. That's not from the usual places. Let's see if it comes true or not. But I'll be happy to see him back, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. It's just got to happen. The thing is, you just got to hope that WWE haven't burnt their bridges with a lot of this talent. Like, they've sat there and released these wrestlers I know, like, you got people like Braun that were on silly money, 7-figure contracts, and whether they've put through the thought of maybe releasing them, then re-signing them on a lower contract. But I mean, you got people like Triple H that turn around and like basically being outraged that they're releasing the likes of Samoa Joe and someone in creative all of a sudden gone, oh wait, instead of actually releasing Aleister Black, someone's not turned around and gone, you do know this guy is like one of the hottest things in wrestling at the minute, and we've already paid for all this promo stuff, and do you know what I mean? It makes. I just said, yeah, I hope it comes true, and I hope to see him back, man, because I love him and I think he's great.
Definitely. Let's hope it comes true. Apparently, he was backstage last night, apparently as well, which I don't know about that. That I haven't seen anything kind of credible that says that, but let's hope he's back soon if that is the case. Go on, let's talk about our next match. This was a rematch again. We've got Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell. For me, I really kind of enjoyed the match. I didn't think it's been as good as their other matches, but this is all great apart from the finish. The finish was horrendous. It was a cheap roll up, which for me, it just made Seth Rollins look like a coward. I get he has to get his momentum back, but for me, I just didn't really enjoy it. I thought this is a Cesaro that's gone from almost beating Roman Reigns to now losing. I'm not really a fan of that. What did you make of the match?
Exactly. I'll just literally back off what you would say there. Yeah, it was an okay match. It's not the best one they've had. The finish, a roll up, man. It's your pay per view, and you're doing roll up pins. I think it's such a poor way to book a match. Like that's what I'm saying. This is why I felt that this was very Raw-esque, because this is how matches on Raw should finish, with roll-ups. Like, do you know what I mean? Cheap pins and all this kind of stuff. I wasn't impressed by this finish at all.
I get the feeling that they're obviously building Seth up for something bigger. Like I could see Seth versus Edge at SummerSlam maybe, but I know they want to start rebuilding Seth. But for me, you don't want to be beating Cesaro by a roll up. This is Cesaro that was one of the most hottest fins in WWE going into this. This is a guy that beat Daniel Bryan twice. This is a guy that took Roman Reigns to the limit. You know what I mean? This is something that you've got these up and mid carders that you need to keep strong. I think beating Cesaro here was a really bad move, and I think it further adds to the problem is who have they got next now for Roman? You know what I mean? Based on this loss.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. Moving forward, this is going to be a bit questionable. We've obviously got the Shayna Baszler, Alexa Bliss match. For me, I just think, let's look at this then. So obviously we've had such a build up in terms of the story changing every single 5 minutes of what they've done. The crucial positive finish obviously really seems absent, which is really kind of good. In terms of this match for me, the match was okay. It never really kind of got started. We do get sort of Nia and Reginald there. Reginald is horrified by Alexa every time he sees her. And then next thing you know, we get sort of Alexa controlling Nia. Nia then hits Reginald. Crucially enough, Alexa does get the win. And it's just obviously Twisted Bliss for the finisher. It looks like Alexa is controlling Shayna's arm to a certain point. That seems to be the way they're doing it. But for me, we had no further follow-up on the earlier promo. That wasn't explored. But this is just a win for Alexa. The positive on this is great to see Alexa back on a pay-per-view. But for me, this is your former tag team champions that are just jokes now. What did you make of this match?
I feel they missed a trick with this one, because for one, I can understand why they were treating Alexa Bliss like she's Medusa from Greek mythology, and that if you stare at her too long, you will turn into stone. It was very, very strange the way they were doing this. The other thing they missed out, I think, as well, when the actual match was going on and you had Shayna doing all the joint manipulation, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember when Alexa faked that she'd broken her arm because she's double jointed? And then she snaps her arm back in place and then attacks whoever she was wrestling at the time. I forget the match. But I was like, you could have had this to add a more sort of twisting dynamic to the Alexa Bliss character. Because obviously at one point, Shayna does that bit where she has the arm bent backwards and then she stamps on the arm. And you could have had Alexa Bliss selling a broken arm because her arm is double jointed and it looks like it's broken, then to come back at it. And I just think it was something they missed with this match. It would have added a bit more of a dynamic to it. But the mind control of Nia Jax, I thought it was all right. It was better than the doll. But it's just like, I was like you, me, and Steve like was saying the other day. I would have preferred this to have been to Shayna and then having Alexa use Shayna as a proxy instead of Nia.
I've been saying that for weeks. I've been saying for weeks that Shayna would be under Alexa's control and stuff like that.
And then obviously going into Money in the Bank, has Shayna win Money in the Bank on behalf of Alexa. I reckon that would have been a much more interesting dynamic for this to go with. But yeah, it's just unfortunately, it's just not very good.
What do you make of Alexa now being Mankind, that she doesn't sell pain? She loves pain. She laughs in this lot. It's okay. But then when they're doing this type of gimmick, this is a person now that she loves pain. She can't be pinned. The only way you can beat her is last man standing, putting barrels on her or something. You know what I mean? That's kind of it's a dangerous route to go down.
Lowering a forklift truck on her so she can't actually stand up, kind of thing. You know, like the Rock and Mankind. Yeah, it's like I said, I think there's something long term going on with Alexa Bliss, and I think this is why they would. This is why I personally thought they'd have used Shayna or Nia as a proxy for her. But
They may
yeah,
still do that. I think. Like, I don't think this is done. Let's be fair. Like based on the
oh
way
yeah,
that
no,
it ended and
100%.
stuff
Yeah,
like that.
this will continue tonight. This is no way this is finished 100%. But yeah, just it pains me because it's like this isn't very good creative, I have to say, and I think there's a lot of people out there that could have booked this a hell of a lot better.
I just think there's zero excitement coming out of this match. Like, I get that we've had this chaotic, but one last thing as well, Steve, just before we move forward. Do you not think they made a huge mistake? Obviously, the way Raw ended 2 weeks ago with Shayna, we haven't seen Shayna for 2 weeks. There's no, she's not selling an injury. You know what I mean? Going to this match, she's not different in any way. I don't get why she couldn't be there last week. This is just where the problem is. They're missing small things that really hurt the angle. It's not Alexa's fault. Alexa's doing the best she can. She's a great wrestler. Shayna's a good wrestler, but the longer this nonsense carries on, it's just going to harm people, I think.
Just a little 2-minute video on Raw last week, even though Shayna wasn't there. Like I said, how NXT do, you should go 2 or 3 weeks without seeing some of them. Just a little 3-minute video, not even that, 60 seconds of just Shayna laying her intentions out for what's going to happen. But we didn't get none of that. All we got was Nia Jax acting as a proxy for Shayna doing a promo segment. Yeah, it's not very good, man, not at all.
And I think the thing is that she was haunted by this Lily doll, yet this Lily doll had no impact now. Now Lily's been dropped like a bad habit. Shayna's not terrorized by that. Shayna's not like sort of in fear of it, which is just totally goes against what they've been building up for weeks. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I just think it's one of the things. Let's 100%. Move forward. Definitely. Okay, so we're going to go to the next match. This is Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Hell in a Cell. Yeah, for me, I kind of enjoyed it. It was fairly good. For me, I'm shocked, man. We've got Jobber Owens on our hand. This is Kevin Owens now. Beginning of the year, was challenging Roman Reigns, pushing Roman Reigns to the limit. Lost to Commander Aziz on SmackDown, now losing to Sami Zayn. How can you go from like that to that? But in terms of the match was okay. I thought it did what it needed to do. They were thrown together with little or no build, really. They just chucked this together, really, haven't they? Sami Zayn does get the win, and it's a haluva kick and a crucial pinfall. What did you make of the match?
I felt this was a lot like Cesaro Seth. I don't think this is one of their best matches. There was still some creativeness to it, but just the whole selling the Nigerian nail from Friday night, I just think was a bit. I don't think you needed it for this match. I mean, is that the only way Sami Zayn can win a match is by someone else having injured Kevin Owens sort of 2-3 nights prior? I wasn't a fan of it. Yeah, like I said, the match was fine itself. Sean Ross Sapp dropped a couple of interesting facts on Twitter last night. This is Sami's first win in a one-on-one pinfall since October last year.
Wow.
And this was Sami's third televised one-on-one pinfall win in the last 2 years. He's had 6 televised one-on-one pinfall wins since August 2017. So in 4 years, he's only won 6 matches in a one-on-one match. He was in the kind of champion December last year, wasn't he? Criminal booking for Sami Zayn, man. How the guy that good can be booked that bad is unreal. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sami. I know Sami's had these controversies backstage, but it's just so criminal for him because, say, when he first come in, he was such a hot prospect, and
from NXT, he was so over, wasn't he? From NXT with his intro, the music and stuff like that, and ever since,
and
those conspiracy and stuff's gone.
And the fact that it took I don't even know how long it was, 2-3 years before he won the Intercontinental title, which was his first ever title on main roster aside from the NXT Championship. Yeah, just criminal booking for Sami Zayn, unfortunately. But yeah, it's nice to see him get a win. This is probably just going to be a story going forward from now on SmackDown. I
think for me, I would have much rather seen the Intercontinental title be defended here. Like, I'd much rather seen Kevin Owens and Apollo. Like, I know we sort of had Apollo and Commander Aziz win on SmackDown, but for me, not to have the Intercontinental title on the show, it's travesty, really. You're putting another match we've seen that's needless. Like, it's great for Sami to get a win, but he has to do something with this. But they're going to lose the overness of Kevin Owens as well. This is exactly the same problem they've got with Cesaro. They've got a couple of wrestlers on here where they're beating them, and it just doesn't help. Like, when your world champion's a heel, like, you need your baby faces to be winning. I'm sorry.
Yeah, again, this is unfortunately for Kevin Owens. This is Vince McMahon booking for him because he inevitably lost the Universal Championship to none other than one Bill Goldberg, didn't he?
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah.
I mean, he was meant to be fighting. Yeah, he was meant to be fighting Jericho at Mania that year for the World Championship, for the Universal title. And then Bill Goldberg turns up and does a Kevin Nash and says, "No, sorry, that doesn't work for me, brother." And yeah, Goldberg basically books himself into the angle and wins the title going into Mania against Goldberg, against Brock. Sorry, I think it's a joke.
Oh, let's move forward then. So we obviously got this match. This match has been building quite a while. It's the Rhea Ripley Charlotte match. I've been building this for a while, obviously since WrestleMania. Kind of obviously Rhea's been the champion. She beat Oscar. They had that triple threat last month where Rhea's holding on. For me, the match was okay. I really kind of enjoyed parts of it. I think Rhea looked offensive. The problem with this is a DQ win for Charlotte Flair. For me, I can't believe we're doing a DQ finish in a women's world title match on a pay per view. I think for me, Rhea's meant to be the baby face. This way of winning was a cowardly win, which doesn't really work. And for me, I think neither wrestler came out of any credit of this. I think it makes me. It's obviously going to carry on this feud, but I just thought it really under-delivered this match. I think it's another one where we seem to have seen it so many times, and the fact that these people clearly can lose to Nikki Cross in certain stipulations, yet neither one of them can get a clear win over the other. It's really, really bad. What did you think?
I get why they did it, because it builds on their character a bit more going forward. I mean, the match had so much promise to being like a really good match. Like, I mean, you had things like Charlotte doing the Andrade double moonsault. Do you know what I mean? Where she does a moonsault off the top, lands it, does it. That's Andrade's move. So you can tell she's taken some influence from him over, but DQ'd for using a table cover, I think, was a poor way to book it. But like I said, I think this was done to just build their characters more, because after the match you had Charlotte saying, "Oh, you're finally learning," and stuff like this. And I think this is what the whole point of it was. But like you said, a DQ on a pay-per-view is a joke.
I think the trouble I have for it more than anything is the fact that the way they did it, the DQ finish is so lazy. If you're having a DQ because Nikki Cross is getting involved, it's fine. It's something you're moving on. You're doing something. You know what I mean? Just because of it's a cheap way of winning. But for me, we're obviously going to see this match again. Real questions where they go with this women's division on Raw. They seem to have a real lack of wrestlers. We're going to go back to Oscar yet again. You know what I mean? It's I'm just so uninspired by this division at the moment on Raw. Unfortunately,
let me ask you this question about this match: who was supposed to be heel?
Rhea, the problem is Rhea was booked like a heel since WrestleMania. Supposedly she's meant to be a heel. They've done a babyface kind of turn without properly doing a turn. Charlotte's got to be the heel here.
But then she gets the DQ win and acts like a heel. So that's something. This was my biggest problem, was I could not tell who I was supposed to be cheering for and who I was supposed to be booing for in this match. That was the problem I had as well.
I'll put it out there. I think if the fans would have been there in attendance, they would have booed this out the building when that finished.
Well, they'd have booed. I think they would have booed this whole pay-per-view, to be fair. I think that a lot of it is some of the decisions that they've made with it, I just think is criminal.
I'm thinking in the back of my mind all along, like, okay, so the finish has been questionable. We've not got anything built up. There's nothing I need to see again after this. And you're thinking they're going to save a big interference to this next main event, which we're going to talk about. So let's cover this main event then. So this is obviously one that's been going a while. We've seen Bobby Lashley Drew since kind of WrestleMania, on and off, continually in some sort of format. For me, obviously, crucially, this is Drew's last chance at the title if he doesn't win. Like Vinny said, it's only when Bobby's got the belt, which I think was a nice save there in that regard. But when we look at this match, for me, the match was okay. It's pretty hard hitting. I think there was a really good tale of it. MVP gets involved, he gets taken out, and crucially enough, Bobby Lashley's rolling up Drew McIntyre. So Bobby Lashley is pinned former world champion Drew McIntyre with a roll up. This is what's wrong with wrestling in 2021. I'm sorry. I know it's been a hard hitting Hell in a Cell match. This isn't because of Jinder Mahal's come out and distracted you. This isn't because of Brock Lesnar's come out and ripped the cell off. You know what I mean? This is so lazy. A roll up to finish a pay-per-view, and it's a Hell in a Cell match. It's just a joke. Go on. What did you think of it?
The match was fine up until that very last. It was 99% of this match was fine. It was literally just a victory. Like, how you don't have Bobby get him in that submission, I don't know. Sorry, man, dry throat.
No, that's all right. Don't worry. I was going to say with it, like, it's one of them things where I agree the match was pretty good in principle. Like, it wasn't as good as the triple threat we saw at last night's pay-per-view, but it was a good match. MVP's interference was kind of clever, but it's almost like, to me, they run out of time, and I just can't believe that this would have been the finish, a roll up. Like, because for me, where do they go next? Like, to me, like, this is what I was thinking all night when I was watching this pay-per-view. Like, the back of my mind, they haven't really got anybody in a lot of these matches where they can go next. So when you look at like this is obviously going to be Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston next, which has been thrown together with no real thought. Drew, obviously, he's got no opponent to go to. You know what I mean? This is the point where you needed a Damian Priest to come out. You need Damian Priest to come out, attack Drew. Come on, do something. You know what I mean? At least create some sort of controversy. I know there was massive talk that Brock's re-signed, he's on his way back and stuff, but I didn't think we'd get Brock here. But I just thought it's one of them things where if you're ending a Hell in a Cell, you don't end it with a roll up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is my whole problem with this pay per view. Just say it just seems to be that the final decision making just doesn't make sense with a lot of it. Yeah, but again, so I said to you at the start, no one went through the Hell Cell. They didn't use the top of the cell like Randy and Drew did last year, and no one went through a table like loads of Hell in the Cells previously have been known for that iconic moment where someone's come off the top or the side of the cell and gone through the announcers table. This just wasn't good. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I could have probably done without watching this, to be honest. I think if I was going to sum this up in one word, I'd have to say forgettable, because I can't see I can't see if you got to the end of the year and turned around and went, what was the best part of the show? I'll be honest with you, I don't think I could remember.
I've got to put it like this: WWE have been on a really great run with pay-per-views recently. Like WrestleMania wasn't bad.
Backlash was really good.
Yeah, and you know what I mean. It's just kind of one of them things. Like I just think this one, they're thrown together. They hold on to the fans, come back. But part of me going into this event, I really thought this is your last event in Thunderdome. The fans are back soon. You really need to start getting these hitting hard angles. I get that everybody's coming back soon. You're going to get Becky Lynch back soon, supposedly. The Rock apparently is coming back, supposedly. You're going to get John Cena. John Cena's coming back. You know, you're going to get all these hard hitting wrestlers back soon. But why not give people pay off to the fans that have stuck with you during the Thunderdome, that have watched this week on week and stuff like that? For me, I just felt so uninspired really coming out of this pay-per-view. I just think I felt like I'd watch Raw, which I don't want to be feeling like on a pay-per-view.
That's what I said. Yeah, I just feel this was a pay-per-view-esque version of Raw, and it was just I really could have probably done without watching it, to be honest. But see, this is where I think they shot themselves in the foot. They say that they're saving all the best storylines for when fans are back, but you're currently your statistics show that you're week on week losing viewers because your product's not very good, and you say you're saving all these storylines when everyone comes back, but it's like you need to have a reason for the fans to come back, because apparently their live shows are not doing really well on ticket sales, and if the product's bad, no one's going to want to come watch it because they're not going to see the point to it.
I think if we're going to give this a final kind of rating and score, then for me, I'll go out of 10. I'm going to go 6 out of 10. The opening match kind of saved it from being a 5 or a 4 for me. It was kind of predictable in a lot of parts. There was a couple of shocks with some of the results. I didn't see some of the results happening, but for me, I'm looking forward to Money in the Bank. Let's get the fans back. I'm really I was disappointed by it. I felt that not the wrestlers' fault. The wrestlers kind of did what they could with what they were given, but this was very much a filler. It felt like a house show to me. It didn't feel like a pay-per-view in Austin. So I think like I could have missed this, and I wouldn't have missed anything really in that respect besides the opener. What's your final score and thoughts?
I'm gonna go. I can't be as generous as you, man. I'll probably have to go with a 4. I think the fact that we got a DQ finish, 2 roll-up pinfalls, a poorly booked Alexa Bliss match, I think they didn't do to their best of abilities. Like I said, I think the opening match saved the pay-per-view. Taking this guy off the pay-per-view as well, to put him on free-to-air TV, I think he's your biggest draw. And do you know what I mean? This pay-per-view probably could have done with him, to be fair. But yeah, I'd probably have to go 4 out of 10. Definitely.
I think the last one I'm going to kind of say, I think they have a real kind of problem with where they go next with stuff. Like they're having to go outside to bring people in, such as John Cena, because they haven't got anybody built up. And I was thinking to this, Steve, they've had this whole year now with people missing. Becky Lynch is missing. Brock has been missing. Cena's been missing. They've had all this time to build up new stars. They've not done it. The only person to be successful coming out of this Thunderdome, there's 2 people probably. I'd say Bobby has been quite successful. And I'd say the other one is Roman Reigns. The rest of them, I think, are questionable. There's no RK Bro on this pay-per-view. There's no good things,
team wrestling. Yeah,
it's just a joke. I know back in the day when Austin went home and stuff, they built up new stars. They need to start building up new stars. And the lack of people on TV, such as a Damian Priest, Ricochet, and all others, continue on and off. How can you get behind the product at the moment? I'm sorry to say it, but I feel really negative about it at the moment. I'm just being realistic and honest. It's not to everyone's taste.
Yeah, like I said, this pay-per-view has not helped. So hopefully with Money in the Bank being next, things will change. It'll be in front of a live crowd, and you'll start to get that genuine response to if the product is rubbish. You're going to have 10,000 people turn around and tell you that the product is rubbish, and say, yeah, I just could have done without watching this one, if I'm all honest.
Definitely. So let's kind of end the video today. So thank you all for watching. If you made it to this part, good on you. Thank you. But no, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Steve, listen, I want to thank you so much for doing the show. That's it. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining us. As always, stay safe, be well, enjoy Raw tonight, enjoy NXT this week. And as always, if you can, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you thought the pay-per-view was good and you disagree, please let us know in the comments what you disagree about. I really want to hear your opinion. You guys might have thought it was great. If you do, good on you. As always, please give us a like and a sub. And that's it. Take care and thank you for watching.